Welcome, everybody. This is Market Peak with Seth and Matt. Say hello, Matt. What's up?
Happy Sunday, guys.
Yeah, happy Sunday, man. How was your weekend so far?
Pretty good.
Yeah? All right, cool. Rock on. I know it was a little freezing there.
How was yours?
Mine was good, man. It's a beautiful freaking day. I know where you are. It's still like 0 degrees, right?
Yeah, it'll get warmer over time.
All right, cool.
This region, you typically see a lot of snow during the spring.
Sure.
So
All right. Well, we're rooting for you. So we got a lot to cover. We're going to be talking about AITX, which you see in front of you. This is our stock pick of the week. I'm also going to be talking about small caps. Think, they might have a little bit of a rebirth. And talking about a couple ones specifically that we've been following on the show for quite a bit anyway. And then we're going to go with our Monday prep, stuff we like, stuff maybe to stay away from. And then we're going to move into our predictions. So we want to say, this is not financial advice. Do your research. So small caps, you feel as if they might be, getting a little bit of a bump. What are your thoughts on that?
So you could say that the bump we saw today was a dead cat bounce. We had an impulsive sell-off. A lot of these stocks are down 30, 40%.
A lot of them are.
Makes sense that buyers would come in at a certain point, and they are. Do we see another retest of the lows for some of these stocks? And by lows, I mean recent lows.
Sure.
Possibly. Do I think odds are we continue to chop higher? Yeah.
Yeah?
I'd say so.
I'd say so too.
I don't think small caps are finished.
I feel like because
the Fed,
Go ahead.
the Federal Reserve announced that they would be prepared if they needed to purchase high yield debt, junk debt.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of these small cap companies don't have access to debt markets in the way some of these larger, more successful companies like, say, Apple, Tesla, Amazon have.
Sure.
So they have a hard time financing their operations. Their business models, in many cases, are outdated. Right.
Yep.
They're operating in spaces that are being completely taken over by, in some cases, single companies. Okay. So from a fundamental standpoint, there maybe isn't a ton to like in the small cap, micro cap space. However, when the Federal Reserve comes and says that they're going to do as much as they can to keep these companies afloat, some of these, embattled companies,
they can't fail.
You shouldn't fight the Fed.
Yeah, I can agree.
And a lot of the companies that have been seeing extreme gains recently may actually turn out to be successful in the future. Particularly a lot of these energy companies.
Sure.
Right.
I agree with that.
There's a huge market there. Things are changing.
Yeah, energy companies for sure. One of the sectors that I follow quite a bit is the renewable energy sector. And for sure, especially with Biden in the White House, it's just one of those areas where you put some money in there, chances are you're going to do pretty well. Now, obviously, if you do enough research to feel like you like the company, it's probably one of those ones that's going to do pretty well. So we are, in the small cap realm, we can talk about Energis Corporation. So this is one of the ones that I've been kind of following for quite some time. Huge fan of it. So what they have is radio frequency charging, where you could just put your phone wherever you want and radio waves will actually charge your phone, which is pretty freaking amazing. And Apple has been said to be linked with them. That's why you see this major jump. For those of you who didn't watch our Friday show, it peaked. It had gone up over 100% for the day. Ended up settling, right around like positive 78, 85%, I think, after hours. But it's one of those ones that they got a lot of really interesting stuff. They have a lot of patents coming through, and they're starting to work with a lot of companies. And the same thing with TRXC. So if I give you the 3-month here, it's one of those ones that have been kind of flat for quite some time, starting getting patents, starting to get some sales, starting to, create some accounts. And if I look at Avenger, pretty much a similar situation as TRXC. So if I give you the 3-month, as you can see, pretty flat, starting to move up, and then had this big spike yesterday, and then it kind of flattened out. And these are ones that I've been following, but they all are kind of going in the same direction, which is up, and dipped a little bit, and that's pretty much it. So what are a couple of the small caps that you've kind of been looking at?
So two in particular I'm looking at right now are Watt,
Sure.
as per your recommendation, and not just because of the interesting price action, but because I believe in its business model,
Sure.
and
Sure.
I do
Sure.
think RFID transmission is the future, and it's just I'm intrigued by the technology. Also helps that there are rumors of some sort of partnership with Apple. We'll see if there's actually play out.
Sure.
The other one
And
I'm
they're
interested
just
in.
barely a small cap, by the way, at 322 million. So they got in officially today. So
Yeah,
just putting that
interesting.
out there. Avenger and TRXC borderline, but anyway, what was the other one?
So I'm also looking at DoorDash right now.
Okay, sure.
So DoorDash is actually a heavily shorted stock. I believe it still is. And its business model is one that has thrived over the past year. A lot of people don't have access to restaurants, and if they do, they have limited access.
Sure, sure.
A lot of people are working at home, taking care of their kids. It's just much more convenient and in some cases cost effective to order food online.
We do it
Right?
quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub. So it's an interesting stock to watch. If we gain some momentum here, there's a chance that we could short squeeze out some of these larger positions and send the price soaring. But we'll see.
Yep. We'll see.
It's an interesting technical setup. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. It's a good, once again, we talk about a good way to diversify. That's for sure.
Mm.
All right. Well, I guess we should, I feel like small caps are definitely primed to do really, really well. I think there's a little bit of a hit there with the micros. But if you find ones that you like, it's a really, really good time because you've been talking about how you expect the VIX to keep going down and, market to keep rallying and small caps. And if you get into a good one, same thing with the micros, they obviously have a lot more upside than say something like Apple, which will still go up, but it's not going to go up. It's not going to go up 4 times or 5 times or anything like that. Those are definitely the more stable plays.
Yeah, and the funny thing is small caps outperformed all the other stocks during that COVID crash.
Sure.
Outperformed to the downside. So you had a 40% haircut in the 2000 versus a 25% in the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
Right. Why was that? Because a lot of people gave up on their small caps, on their smaller domestic companies.
Because they got
energy
hammered and people got scared.
On the banks.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got scared. They got shaken out of the market. And had they stayed in and dollar cost averaged their way through the past year, they'd be seeing pretty significant gains right now.
For sure. Yeah. All I can say
just goes
is,
to show you.
Go ahead.
Just goes to show you have no idea what the market is capable of at the end of the day.
You really don't. Right? You really
It
don't.
can go higher for longer. It can go lower when you least expect it. So you just gotta play day by day.
When I woke up this morning and saw that Watt was up like 60% pre-market, I was like, it was just like insane, dude. I mean, and then I wake up, I'm like, all right, it's going to dip a little bit, which it did end up being like around 40%. And actually here, let me pull out the day. And around 40%, as you can see, is down here. And then all of a sudden it just started taking off. Ended up doubling by the time it finished. And then at the end of the day, after hours, I think up 85%. So I was very, very happy about that. That's for sure.
What probably happened is after the initial sell-off, you had options buyers come in.
Sure. And
express interest. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. That's all I have to say.
I just feel like I've been saying it, and I fully expect it not to stay for long. But every time, this is the year chart, every time it goes up, it just dips straight back down. When it's really sharp, you can see it right here too, right here as well. So every single time, it always comes back down. I'm going to wait for it to settle. Like I said, I sold half of my shares, took a little profit.
Prudent.
Yeah, it is. Especially with as much as I've got my ass kicked this week with some of my micros. and some of the small caps. I mean, TRXC at one point was getting hammered as well. So I just decided to take a little profit when it gets down. I'm going to find a good place to buy back in. I'm going to put all that money right back into it. It's just,
the stock makes a 100% move. You shouldn't feel ashamed.
I've learned that a lot. In our Tuesday show, last Tuesday, we were talking about, 5 of the things that I've done to have a really successful portfolio. One point I was up 1,200%. Right now it's at 5. Got my ass kicked recently. Got caught up in the sundial bullshit. That's all right. I'll build my way back up. It's fine. But one of the things we talked about was, taking a moment, breathe. When you double, make sure you make a smart move. And that's exactly what I did. And I thought about that episode we did last Tuesday. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And so I did. So very, very proud of myself. Thank you very much. So, and all right. So let's move into our stock feature this week, which is going to be artificial intelligence. I was going to say technology, but Artificial Intelligence Technology Solutions, Inc. They're a company that puts out robo-security. This is an up-and-coming sector. There's a lot of money that's being put into it right now. And there are some companies that have stuff already out there. But these are some of the new ones that are actually coming out with some groundbreaking stuff. The reason I say these are some of the new ones because I do have a couple competitors that we're going to look at pretty quickly as well. So have you heard of this? Did you hear this before I brought it up? No, not at all? Okay. So my friend Steve, who originally told me about Watt when it was 80 cents, told me about this one. So the reason why I decided to feature it is because it's not very often. In fact, it never happens. It's very, very rare that he's like, this is the next one. And last time he told me it was Watt, it was a year ago. And this time we're looking at artificial technology. So that's why I decided to really look into it. So what they have is a bunch of different things that they offer, which is what separates them. Most of these companies out there that are doing exactly in the robotic security, all they have is these rovers. But what's cool about what this company is doing is they actually have some products that you can put on the wall, as you can see. But if you look at this Scott over here, this is where it gets kind of interesting. So this is a security control observation tower. That's your Scott, SCOT. And what it does is you would place it in an area and you have 360-degree surveillance. You have two-way calling. You have a screen to where you can communicate with people if somebody's in trouble. And this is something that would get monitored. It has license plate recognition, face recognition as well. So if you're looking for some compact security and you don't want to have to worry about hiring people and you just want to put it in your parking garage, even in your lobby, that's what this would be. But you can see there's also the Wally and the Wally SHO. The Wally is the same thing as the Scott, but you put it on the wall. And the Wally SHO, that's something where it can take your temperature. It's got some scanning capabilities as well. So this is the one of the companies that they have. The other one is pretty much the same thing, same company. The only difference is this one's mobile. So you have a situation where if you want this thing to drive around and you want this thing to, and you can see the video here, it's got a little drone that follows it with a tether for power. That drone will fly around wires. It'll fly around trees. And this thing will just kind of go around its path. And obviously there's going to be people monitoring this stuff. So basically you can have a lot of coverage without having to hire a lot of people. And that's basically what the company does. Any thoughts so far?
It sounds controversial, sure, but I'm interested.
It is. I mean, the first
all new technologies sound controversial.
You're taking people's jobs. That's the first thing that people are going to say, which is poignant. In addition to that, you're being monitored by which essentially is a robot that has its own agenda. I don't know if you say agenda, I mean, but it kind of does. So
it thinks for itself.
Have you seen any robot security out there at all? Just walking around? I've never seen it either. So I'm curious to see. This is the first time I've
heard of that concept.
Yeah, I mean, it's around. It's definitely around. If we actually go to, here's one of the competitors. So this is, do I have to refresh here? I probably do.
So just out of curiosity, are they on like a subscription based model?
It's a subscription base, yeah. So you're going to go ahead and
pay for the service.
I assume
on a monthly basis, recurring revenue.
Correct. I don't know if I guess with the device, you would purchase the device and you have subscription after that. Because if you're putting it into your wall, I don't know if you
Okay.
could actually have a subscription that leases out the product, but you might be able to do that with the rover, the one that moves around. So, I mean, this one's Nightscope. This is another one that's out there. This is Start Engine's kind of like a Kickstarter, GoFundMe. This one you can actually invest in. It's $500 minimum investment. It's cool, but what I like about artificial intelligence technology is the fact that they got a lot of stuff going on. They already have a lot, companies that they work with. They've been featured all over the wazoo. But this one's cool. I mean, they've got some cool little rovers here. They do have one standalone, and the other one is going to be Cobalt Robotics, which does trade on the stock market. But looking at what's in front of us, this is it. This is what they have. This is their one thing right now. And I've looked through the website. I haven't found anything else. FTSSF trading at 31 cents right now, following a similar path. But what I like about AITX the most, above all the fundamentals and all that, is Steve Reinhardt's. He's just a cool guy. He's very personable. He's one of those people where you just look at him and you automatically like him. He's got a cool voice. Here we go. So when he starts talking, he just feels so nice and soothed.
I'm Steve Reinhardt,
Okay.
and today I want to talk with you about security, robotics,
I guess I'm feeling
artificial
soothed.
intelligence, and
Yeah,
It's Friday. I'm definitely feeling a little more
He's
relaxed.
just a cool guy, and that's really, really important. Like, if you're trying
Yeah.
to sell, and if I go to his Twitter, very active on Twitter. So let's see, tweet that he had earlier today, up to 4 AITX news issuance of some sort appears likely next week. So there's going to be some news coming out. He does
Okay.
a monthly Q&A for everybody.
Yeah.
And the reason I feel like now would be a really, really good time, in addition to everything
What's the
else.
price?
So we're getting
What's
there.
the share price?
So the reason
Okay.
I think right now is going to be a really good time is he's been talking about a Fortune 100 company, and he's supposed to have some big an announcement. Could be big, could be not big, Monday or Tuesday. So getting to the price. Right now, the stock is
Interesting.
trading at 18 cents, which is really, really inexpensive. Actually, let me back out to the 5-day. So it had spiked recently. If you actually go up, you can see it was trading at about 29 cents. Right now, it's about 18 cents. It's one of those ones that was sitting really, really low for a while, sub penny, moved up a little bit, and then it had a little spike, about 20 cents in end of January, down. So it had a little bit of a dip. And if you look at the chart, it feels like it's going to go up, and it just seems like a lot of momentum for this one as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting chart.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I just feel like it's one of those ones that could really, really break out. It's an up and coming. It's like renewable energy. It's up and coming. The whole sector's new. There's a lot of momentum. And if you look at the website, they've been featured quite a bit on like ABC News and stuff like that as well. Any questions?
Definitely interested.
For sure. I'm interested too. I hope.
Any idea?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Any idea of what the news might be next week?
I'm hoping, so you can see CBS News, ABC, NBC, Fox, USA Today. They had a Q&A on a local channel,
Yeah.
though it looked like it was just so softball. It looked like almost pre-recorded, to be honest with you. I don't know. Like, maybe it's going to be. So he was reported as saying, and this is my friend Steve is kind of like, he doesn't like it, but he was reported as saying the Future 100 company that I wanted to mention, but I have an NDA. Just like, it's kind of like, it's wishy-washy.
Easy excuse.
Like, why would you say that? And you should know there's an
little
NDA.
vague.
Yeah, a little bit. So maybe a little overly ambitious with whatever. He'd need to stick to the Elon Musk profile, which is like, boom, we're going to drop it. We're going to talk about it, and then I'll see you later for a little while. But I just like the fact that he's out there, and we'll see. Hopefully it's a Fortune 100 company. So they talk about all the pre-orders they have, and
So residential application, commercial application.
residential application, yes, commercial, 100%. Once again,
Okay, I'd be interested.
Go ahead.
I'd be interested to know, in regards to the pre-orders, who's buying what? Are businesses buying the bulk of these security products,
Could be.
or
Could be.
is there a lot of like individual, small-time consumer interest in this space?
I would expect so. I really would.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, any application you want, You know, I mean, think about it. Anywhere you just need to have you don't want just a camera. You know, you want a camera that you can kind of interact with, that can, read license plates, and especially with the facial recognition, that's really, really powerful. You know, you get a certain, I don't know, like, I mean, I might be going a little bit crazy, but let's say there's a mall and like this person's not allowed in the mall back anymore. You know, you put a bunch of these in there, something like that. I think it could work.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
For sure.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. I'm going to check this one out.
Yeah,
Seth.
definitely check it out. I'm already in. I've got like 10,000 shares. I bought them when they were like 23. So I'm down a little bit from where I got in, but I definitely think it's a really, really good look. That's for sure. So definitely AITX, cannot get it on Robinhood. That's for sure. But you can get on TDA, you can get on Fidelity. And like I said, 18 cents right now. And if you look at the chart, it looks like it's ready to move back up again. So let's hope so, man. Let's hope so. So Monday prep. What are you thinking? I mean, a stock that I like for Monday's Space, SPCE, Virgin Galactic. I just feel like it did the little dip it's gonna have, and it's ready to move back up. What do you like moving forward right now?
I'm always looking at the VIX.
Sure.
Looking to see how it behaves at the beginning of these rolling option expiration months.
Sure.
So if it goes up, I'd anticipate it downtrending for the next, say, 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
If it goes down next week, I'd honestly expect it to give us some sort of bounce the following week.
Sure.
And then continue its downtrend.
Okay. Sure.
I don't think the VIX is going to see another massive spike like we did back in March.
Okay.
For a long time, right? Because you have these long short funds right now shorting the VIX, buying the S&P, effectively controlling the direction of the market. And then you have passive inflows, right? You have all these massive money managers, pension funds, basically being long.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Slowly buying stocks, but they buy based on signals, and in many cases, signals provided by the VIX.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's kind of like the pivot point that I like to watch.
Sure.
So we'll see what happens.
Hell yeah. So staying clear right now, just for now, and watch it closely. If you're really interested in Watt and are just, I mean, there's no reason not to be, but if you're really interested in it, I feel like watch it. I feel like it's going to dip a little bit. If you look at the charts, you'll see every spike's followed by a dip, except for one. It dipped a little bit. But that's the one I would steer clear of. Last week, I said steer clear of Virgin Galactic. And sure enough, it dropped by like $12, $13, or like 15, 20%. And I got back in, and here we are. So, and any predictions for the week? I mean, we talked about the VIX. I talked about Watt. Anything else? Small caps, you're expecting? Micro caps. I think micro caps are going to have a nice little bounce. That's for sure.
Yeah. So you had a big flush. You shook out a lot of weak hands. And now the question is, do
bye
bears
Bears
come back in?
Bye Bears.
Yeah.
You think the Bulls will come
There's
back
so
in?
much money to be made right now in
Sure is.
on some of these cap stocks that I can't imagine some of these big money players, hedge funds, resisting the temptation.
Sure.
So I do think you'll see more liquidity pumps. I think you'll see more dumps. I think the space continues to evolve and accelerate and become a more pivotal player in the overall market landscape.
Sure.
Take risks. Think about what your stop limit is, and have fun.
Yeah, have fun. If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right.
Do some research, and just make sure that you're interested in the companies, particularly in the microcap space that you're betting on. So,
and pick a couple. Like we talked about last Tuesday, we were talking about the 5 different things. One of them was making sure that you don't stay in one market cap area in one sector. So just don't get overindulged into because it's really easy to do. You see all these great values and deals and this and that, But as I learned, because I was a little bit over in this week, that you can just take a really big beating. So make sure you spread yourself out. Pick a couple that you really like. Same thing with the small caps, all that. So, all right. So what are you excited about for this week?
Excited. I am honestly excited to see how this stimulus bill proceeds.
Sure.
In Congress.
Sure. That'll be great for everybody.
They have a plan in motion right now. It looks like direct payments are a lock. It looks like this $300 a month child tax credit is a lock. That's significant.
That's great because I actually can get that one.
Yeah, that is significant, and that's a game changer. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at next week, and obviously the market tracks that news. So
sure.
See.
Yeah, I'm honestly just excited for market caps or small micros to have a nice little rebound. With the stimulus, I'm with you 100% on that for sure. But I just feel like after the little correction, I just, like you said, like we've been saying, yesterday and or actually Friday and today, I just really feel like everything's gonna really start going up. So I'm excited to see what happens. All right, any last minute thoughts?
Like I said, have fun and stay safe out there.
Definitely stay safe out there, folks. All right. Well, this is Market Peak with Seth and Matt, and we will see you guys on Tuesday. Boom.